Five Nights at Freddy's in Real Time is a FNAF fan game where the animatronics move in real time on the cameras. This was already cool enough of a concept, but what made it even cooler was the inclusion of a 6-hour mode, where each hour in-game is a real-life hour, as if we were actually in the shoes of the night guard. In fact, I love this concept so much that I've been playing a ton of real-time Five Nights at Freddy's. However, instead of the fan game, I've been using a mod of the original game. However, doing runs like this has made me notice a lot more about FNAF 1 than ever before, as I play the game in different ways and use strats I've never done before, which has been a lot of fun. But this got me thinking, what if I did this mode on a game that I don't have the best relationship with? Five Nights at Freddy's 2. For those who don't know, I don't really like Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So, as both a fun idea and a challenge to myself, I asked PHX Ghost, the goat who made the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 real-time mod, if he can make Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in real time, and he said yes. So, here we are, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in real time. Can I beat the game when the nights are 6 hours long? Well, stick around, because this challenge, well, it made me see Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in a whole new light. So let's begin the hardest challenge I have ever attempted. The challenge that broke me. Also, shout out to So55 for the idea, and if you haven't already, you should subscribe. Thank you. Alright, so night 1 is definitely the easiest night, as nothing happens until 2 AM. No music box, no animatronics, no nothing. So, I guess I could use this time to explain exactly what this mod changes about the game, if anything. I'm not going to go over really how the AI and everything works in this game, since, let's be real, you've heard it a million times. So, I'm only going to be targeting things that are exclusive to the mod itself. Obviously, the biggest change is that the nights now last 6 real-life hours rather than 7 minutes like FNAF 2 nights usually are. The second change is the flashlight has been buffed to flashlight is about 52 times what it usually is. So we will have more than enough to last the night. So night 1 only has 3 animatronics plus the puppet. I'll explain how we're going to deal with each one, especially considering we will be dealing with them for 6 fucking hours. Unlike the flashlight, the animatronics movements are not scaled to the night, meaning that we will have to deal with every character moving on 5-second intervals, meaning we will probably have to deal with each character like 50 times per night. So starting off with the most annoying character in all of this, the puppet. The puppet will chill on cam 11 and require you to wind their music box for the whole night. If you fail to wind the music box and you let it wind all the way down, the puppet will escape and come for you. On night 1, the puppet's music box will run out after about 50 seconds, so you will always have enough time to wind it unless you are like completely zoned out, which definitely won't happen at all. The other 3 animatronics that are active on this night are the toy animatronics, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, and Toy Freddy. Let's start with Toy Freddy. Toy Freddy starts on the show stage and progresses to the game area before making his way down your hall, before entering your office and requiring you to put your mask on. Toy Freddy isn't that hard to deal with, but do note he can force your camera down on 5 and 10-second intervals, so be careful. Toy Chica starts on the show stage, then goes to the main hall, then the hallway in front of you before entering cam 1, entering the left vent, and will then be at your vent opening, which you need to put on the mask until you hear vent sounds or after about 5 seconds have passed. Toy Bonnie works pretty much the exact same as Toy Chica, going from the show stage to cam 3, then 4, before going to cam 2, and entering the right vent, and then the right vent opening. However, Toy Bonnie has one thing that makes him different from every animatronic in this game, and that's what I'm going to call random blackouts. Once Toy Bonnie is in the right vent opening and you put the mask on, he has a 50% chance to leave every 0.5 seconds, and this will be important later. This is the most RNG that we will have to deal with in the challenge, and you'll see how that affects the overall challenge later. But yeah, night 1 is not very hard. Using a mock-up -7 strat, I can prevent the animatronics from ever reaching my office, which also means that I never have to leave cams. Although, as I soon learnt, doing this strategy for more than an hour killed my wrist, and it became very hard to consistently do this movement, resulting in a few mess-ups. However, everyone's AI is so low, and the puppet's music box is so slow, that this really wasn't an issue. In fact, the number one problem was just staying locked in for 6 hours straight. This game will eventually require a ton of focus, and staying locked in for that long is painful to say the least. Doing one 6-hour night was tough, but could I do 4 more? This lingered on my mind as I completed night 1, not truly realizing what I had gotten myself into. Night 2 adds 3 new animatronics, and 2 of them make the whole night way harder. Starting with Mangle pretty much acts like Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica, going from the kids' cove to the prize corner, to the game area, the main hall, the hallway in front of you, party room 2, and then the right vent. Mangle is quite easy to deal with despite their massive amounts of movements, as whenever they are in the opening to your vent, they play this sound. The moment you hear this sound, put on the mask until you hear it stop. Now, the next 2 characters are what make this entire challenge really annoying. Let's start with my least favorite character in the entire game, Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy will wander around the building invisible on the cameras until they reach your vent, playing both the vent noise and one of his voice lines.
Hello?
He plays this sound twice, once when he first enters the vent, and once when he is in the vent opening. If he's in the vent opening, deal with him the same as you would Toy Chica. But unlike Toy Chica, if Balloon Boy gets into your office, he disables your flashlight, which wouldn't be an issue if it wasn't for... yeah, that guy. Foxy is by far the most annoying character to deal with outside of, say, the puppet. While I'm not an expert on how he works, like, you know, the Bones5 YouTube channel on YouTube, understanding his basic mechanics is pretty simple. Every now and again, he will enter the main hall and you need to flash him with your flashlight to prevent him from actually jump scaring you. Now, there's 2 things that I should note with the hall in front of you. The first thing is sprite priority. Basically, Scott never made it that certain characters can visually be shown together on cameras. So, one character's sprite will override the other. Foxy in the main hall in front of you actually has the lowest sprite priority, behind Toy Chica and then Toy Freddy. Now, Foxy is still in the hall here, but it just won't show it. The only 2 characters that Foxy will appear alongside are Withered Bonnie and Mangle. And also, as a side note, although Foxy looks more mad in these shots, he's not, he still works the same. However, this wasn't really an issue, as my cue to look at the hallway would always be once I heard the sound cue that will now forever haunt my dreams, the hallway alarm. This noise is kind of a meme, but when you're listening to it for 6 hours, it gets really fucking annoying. The noise plays under these circumstances: when Foxy, Mangle, Toy Freddy or Withered Freddy enter the hall in front of you, when Toy Chica or Withered Bonnie enter Party Room 1, and when Toy Bonnie or Withered Chica enter Cam 2. Because of how aggressive the characters would become, the amount of time that I wasn't listening to the sound was quite low, and I would be forced to listen to it for ages, which was by far one of the most painful parts of this entire challenge. Now, I want to take a step back and use a real world example to explain just how painful this is. I used to work at McDonald's, and anyone who has worked there or been even near a McDonald's has probably heard this sound. This sound plays all fucking day, and those who understand that pain will understand the pain of listening to the FNAF 2 hallway ambience for 6 hours straight. And what's worse is because of this sound constantly playing, I was more prone to zoning out. In fact, on night 2, I let Balloon Boy into my office at 5 AM, over 5 hours into this challenge. Now, I was on call with friends, so my mood was pretty good to say the least. Even though I died, I was willing to give it another try, and I did beat it on my next go. But my god, the one day I wasn't in a call with my friends, hell would break loose. Night 3 introduces the Withered animatronics, but it also moves some of the toys, making Toy Freddy and Mangle basically non-existent, which is funny considering this is the night Phone Guy talks about as the Mangle. Now, I won't go over how the Withereds move since they all are basically the same. All you need to know is that blackouts suck. Getting a blackout was super stressful, since if my cams were ever forced down, my reaction time may not save me. This is just because getting locked in for this long was just super stressful, and to be honest, it was just too stressful. If there was a way to remove the 3 new wizards from the night entirely, then I'd be able to play through with a bit less stress. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to -3. -3 may be a cheese strat, but shut up, it's my video. But anyways, this is the glitch that tricks the game into thinking you're viewing 2 cameras at once. By selecting the camera you want to trick the game into looking at, and then immediately flicking down your camera, you can trick the game into viewing 2 cameras at once. This glitch is especially useful for dealing with the withered animatronics. The toy animatronics can be stalled on a camera, but only by using the flashlight. The withers, however, are stalled just by looking at their camera. So because the game thinks I am looking at their camera, Withered Bonnie, Withered Chica, and Withered Freddy will never be able to move from the parts and service camera for the entire night. That's great news and all, but there's a couple of new problems that this adds to the night. For one, the -7 strategy doesn't work, meaning that all the toy animatronics will now be able to move towards you with no problem. This isn't really a huge issue, since Balloon Boy being added just makes the timer for -7 super tricky and just makes it super skilled based, which for 6-hour runs just isn't happening. But the bigger issue comes in using the cameras. Unlike most games, you don't need to click multiple times in order to register game actions. You can just keep the left click on the mouse held down, and then just by hovering over the different buttons, you can click on the various cameras. What this means, however, is that you can accidentally click on a camera next to the Y music button and break the glitch, which, well, causes the challenge to be super difficult. So being in the camera is super risky, and you need to make sure that you never hold your mouse button down, which is just some extra brain power, which also means that you're going to be super locked in, which over the course of 6 hours makes the night go super fucking slow. This on top of the non-stop FNAF 2 ambient sound just makes for an absolutely miserable experience. Even hanging out in a Discord call with some awesome people was tricky, since any loud sound that they would make would send me into a panic. So after this night, I decided to simply power through the challenges alone without being in a call. Something I should also mention is just because of how stressful and physically intense FNAF 2 was, I was taking constant breaks, which just made the nights seem longer and longer, as I would aim to have the challenge done in 6 hours, and then by taking multiple breaks, ended up taking like 10 or 12 hours without me even realizing, which was just dragging for time. At this point, the challenge was really starting to get to me, and my desire to complete this was truly vanishing. This challenge was extremely stressful, and I'll be honest, I wasn't sleeping very well either. However, night 3 was nothing compared to the next 2. By God, night 4 was so boring. The first half wasn't too bad, since there weren't really a lot of characters to deal with, only Mangle, Foxy, and Balloon Boy, and eventually Toy Bonnie. But something that I never really anticipated was how tired, fatigued, and stressed I was getting, and every little sound was getting to me. Now, the footage for this next part is corrupted, and it's only the audio. Why? Because OBS sucks balls. But let me set the scene. It's 4:30 AM. I've been doing this challenge for 4 hours and 30 minutes, and Toy Bonnie is at my vent. I put the mask on, nothing. I leave it on, he's not leaving the vent. I take it off and I put it back on. Toy Bonnie finally leaves the vent right as the red flashing for the music box begins to go. And, well, just watch or listen. No, 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 no! Are you f***ing serious? Fuck! Oh my f***ing God! Now, let me tell you a bit about myself. I never ever get mad in video games. I can get frustrated, but I never get mad. This put me in the worst mood I have ever been in. And it wasn't like I lost this challenge because of skill. No, it was RNG. Something completely out of my control, and I was over it. I actually decided to skip night 4 and just attempt night 5, but that too was just unbelievably RNG based. I died twice in 30 minutes because of stupid RNG related things, and I honestly couldn't do it. So now's the part where I tell you that I lied with the title of this video. I didn't actually beat Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in real time. I got 4 hours and 30 minutes into night 4, and my max for night 5 was about an hour. What sucked even more was at this point, I had spent 50 hours on this challenge. I had died twice on night 4 after whatever you heard before, and had a couple of early night 3 deaths, and at this point, I just couldn't go any further. My mind, my body, and my well-being was being challenged. I mean, I did spend enough time in this game to have it be considered a completion, but it's technically not. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in real time was nothing compared to Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Five Nights at Freddy's 1 may be boring, but at least the game is easy, and at least there were periods of time where you can just chill out and relax. But no, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a constant cavalcade of just non-stop attack after attack, and the only way to take a break was to pause. And doing this for 1 night or even 2 nights isn't that bad, but for 5 whole nights? This challenge broke me, and I couldn't continue. I really felt bad, but it's not the end. While attempting this challenge and being in the call with all my friends, I learned something about myself. I had a ton of ideas and the desire to make the best videos possible, and on top of that, I ended up making some really good friends along the way. So I wanted to shout out the GOATs that let this challenge get as far as it did. Feel free to check out all these guys in the description below, and you might even get to see them in future videos. I have a ton of huge videos coming out, including 100 days of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 in real time, which is way nicer than this challenge. I might even try FNAF 3 or 4, but I doubt it. I really love the real time concept, but fuck me, this challenge was just brutal. If anyone can actually sit here for this long playing Five Nights at Freddy's 2, my god, you're insane. Considering I didn't like this game before, yeah, I hate it now. Oh my. But anyways, with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. We are so close to 20,000 subscribers, and I would love to hit it before the end of the month. But anyways, thanks everyone so much for the support, and I will see you in the next video.